Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith, and Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be another, basically, exhortation, and just trying to put the spirit out there amongst the hopeful elect to, stay strong and to continue to endure and to continue to trust in the Lord, regardless of what happens in your life. So through the Spirit, I'm going to get some precepts, some definitions, and Lord's will, you're edified. So 1 Corinthians 15 and 58 says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." And that's right. The brothers going out there on the highways and hedges doing these lessons. Your labors are not in vain. The Lord sees your works. He sees that you're fervent and you're diligent in this faith. And you're going to be rewarded for it so long as you keep your hand on that plow and you endure into the end. And that's the mindset that those of us of the hopeful elect are supposed to have. The mindset of enduring to Slakia. The mindset of enduring unto the end. No matter what situations we're faced with, we have to keep in mind that everything that takes place is controlled by the Lord. And that if you're living righteously in the eyes of the Lord, He's going to protect you. He's going to deliver you from any situation. He's going to have His hedge of protection over you and His angels encamped around about you who fear Him. And brothers and sisters in this faith can testify to many incidents in their life where the Lord has, looked out for them and delivered them, and strengthened them. And the Lord gives a lot of brothers and sisters, visions and dreams about the kingdom of heaven and, about, for the men of the Lord, getting that spiritual power and be able to wreak havoc upon our enemies, righteous havoc, of course, upon our enemies. And that in itself is a major spirit boost, that makes you just want to keep going, makes you want to, read some scriptures, watch brothers' videos, do some lessons of your own, go out there on the highways and hedges. It amps you up. It's like getting shot with some adrenaline. And the Lord, He gives you those visions and makes you have those dreams to show you what you're going to get if you endure unto the end. Now I have the definition of steadfast, or to remain steadfast here. It says to remain steadfast means to stay unwavering, resolute, and firm in your commitment, beliefs, or purpose, even when facing challenges, trials, or temptation. And that is exactly what those of us of the hopeful elect are supposed to do. No matter what happens, no matter if your worldly friends, your worldly family come against you. They don't want to be around you anymore. They kick you out of their life. Maybe your spouse, wants to separate from you because of this truth, because they can't understand it, because they can't see what you see, because the Lord is not dealing with them the way that He's dealing with you. Regardless of what happens, especially, in this day and age, people are losing loved ones left and right, in the sense of their loved ones are dying, and there's a lot of things that can, it can start to wear on you, that emotional toll, the mental toll, it can start to wear on you. But we have to remain steadfast. We have to remain firm in our commitment to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We put our hand to the plow. We can't look back. We're in this faith. We're on this righteous walk of faith. We can't turn back and go back into the world, because there's nothing but wickedness in this world. And we know that the Lord is going to destroy this wicked system, and He's going to destroy all these wicked people. So if you let go of that plow and you go back into the world and start doing the worldly nonsense that you used to do, then the Lord is going to destroy you. And I say it a lot, but it's relevant that take a look at all the judgments that take place every day. The Lord wounds and kills people on a daily basis. These wicked people with whom He is daily angry with, they cannot escape the judgment of the Lord. Even in 1 Peter 3:12, it says the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and His ears are open unto their prayers, but the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. So if you go back into the world, the Lord's face is going to be against you. You're going to be in His crosshairs. And a heavy, horrific judgment is going to befall you. But then the opposite of that is you stay in this faith. You continue to fear the Lord. You continue to pray to the Lord and ask for strength and wisdom and guidance and protection. And the Lord, He's going to look out for you. He's going to grant you those things. Salakia. 2 Timothy 2:1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushua. Verse 2. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. And that's right. That's what happened. From the apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down, it's brothers teaching brothers. Because none of us would know this truth if it wasn't for the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. So, we learned this truth and we internalized it, and now the Lord is using us to teach others. And more brothers are popping up all the time. Verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. And that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Enduring hardness. You got to deal with, the wicked people at your job, the wicked people on the roads, your wicked family members, maybe even your spouse is a little, wicked. You got to endure that. You got to endure that, and you got to stay in this faith. Just stay focused on fervently and diligently and daily serving Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. No matter what you're going through in life. And when I say this, I'm talking to myself as well. These words are not only to strengthen you brothers and sisters out there, but they're also words of encouragement for myself. Because my hope is that I've been chosen from the foundation of the world to endure unto the end and be saved. And in order for that to happen, I would have to endure unto the end. I'd have to continue to fight this fight of faith and endure whatever challenges may come my way. And seeing as we are getting closer and closer to Jacob's trouble going full blown, we're going to have a lot more to endure. Things are going to get a lot rougher out here for everybody, including those of us of the Hopeful Elect. The difference is that we will have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these scriptures through the spirit and the grace and the mercy of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai upon us and within us. So that'll be like our shield in these trying times. That'll be something that the rest of these people in this world don't have. We have to defend this truth, regardless of what happens. Even if we have to defend it to our death, we have to be good soldiers of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Whether that means we endure unto the end and get beamed up on a chariot the first go around, or we have to be martyrs and die for this truth. Either way, it's a glorious ending, because those who die in Hamashiach, those who die defending this truth, they're going to be the first ones risen. So being in this faith, you really can't lose. We're winners. We were created to be winners. And that's the mindset that we have to hold on to. We don't want to disappoint the Lord. If you fall out this faith, that's disappointing. You want to, be a good soldier. You want to be able to just take whatever hits come your way and just keep going. Showing the world, and more importantly, showing Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai that, you are all the way invested in this truth, in this faith. I have the definition of endure here, and it means suffer something painful or difficult patiently. And those of us of the Hopeful Elect, we do that every day. Every day. You got to deal with the filthy conversation of these wicked people that vexes us. You got to deal with all the elements outside. You got to deal with the people at your job. You got to, endure sickness. You got to endure emotional, mental, and physical difficulties and in sometimes pain. But you have to continue to keep your head up. You have to continue to keep in mind that all your labor, all of your enduring is not in vain. You will be rewarded. All you have to do is endure unto the end. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Just a really quick lesson through the Spirit. So in closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakudash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, for putting the Spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.